up, everybody? Fantasy managers, this is Jason, the lucky bastard Uthenwoldt, and you are watching the Fantasy Footballin show. This is going to be pretty fun because you guys can probably see my pretty face a little bit better. I finally got my HD camera, and I can already tell a huge difference. I look younger, except all the gray beard. I like the gray beard. I wish it was all gray. Anyway, this week, or this video is a player pause. It's our version of start sit for Thursday night's game. The Dallas Cowboys at the Tennessee Titans. Just so you guys know that this is being filmed Tuesday, December 27th. So there's some people out, some players that are on the injury report right now. It's questionable. I'm doing this video off of that. Might change by Thursday. Just be aware of that. Tyler will have his video come out Thursday before the game. Make sure you catch that. This one will be airing tomorrow morning. So let's go into this, right? This is a very interesting game. The reason why I say that is because the Titans are trying to play for a playoff spot, while the Cowboys still have a chance to win that division and get the one of the top seeds. They had a huge win against the Eagles last week that really helped it. Cowboys got to win out. Eagles got to lose out. So this game means a lot, especially as the first game of Week 17. This is the first game of the Fantasy Championship. I'm going to try to help you along the way to see if certain players you are kind of questioning if you should start or play. And you can take my advice and either play or pause them. And you might be right. I might be right. You might be wrong. I might be wrong, but we'll see, right? If you guys are right, take the credit. If you're wrong, blame me. Blame me. Give me the heat. Give me the heat. All right. So another reason why this is an interesting game, because both these teams have played on Thursday night this year. So this is their second game on Thursday night. The Cowboys defeated the Giants on Thanksgiving. And then I believe the week before that, the Titans beat the Packers, which was a very fun game too. For the Cowboys, in that game against the Giants that they won, I believe the score was 28-20. Dak Prescott had 261 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Ezekiel Elliot had 92 yards, 1 touchdown. Ceedee Lamb, 6 catches, 106 yards, 0 touchdowns on 11 targets. And Dalton Schultz, he had two touchdowns that game, which is great because I started him. So good little history to start it off. Now I kind of go into the injury report for the Cowboys. DeMarcus Lawrence is questionable. Safety J-Ron Curse is questionable. Leighton Vander Esch, he's expected not to play. But then an important fantasy factor, running back Tony Pollard is questionable. Linebacker Parsons is questionable too. So keep an eye on that in the next upcoming days. On the other side, Ryan Tannehill, he's out. On the defensive line, defensive tackle, Jeffrey Simmons, he's questionable. Linebacker Dylan Cole, he's questionable. Cornerback Christian Fulton is questionable. And then Amani Hooker is questionable. And Josh Thompson is questionable too. Amani and Josh are both the safeties on that team. So their defense looks pretty banged up going into this. All right. Now you got all that. Let's go into the player pause. First person, Dak Prescott. I'm going to say play him, right? So you can play this guy, but there's a good chance he's not going to get you magnificent numbers, right? Numbers that we had last week, right? He tore it up last week. He got around like 30 points in most leagues. So I don't think that's really going to happen. I don't believe it's going to happen. But I think he's going to do well. But championship winning numbers, I don't really see that happening. Right? Just the way this game I feel like is going to play out. With the Titans having a backup quarterback, that's kind of awful. So Dak Prescott, he's 20th QB. And the Titans are 30th best defense against quarterback scoring, which is pretty good, right? That's kind of a good matchup for Dak Prescott. No downfall with Prescott, though, is that this year he has the 6th most INTs. And in and he's first in the span and in the 9-week span. That's when he came back from his thumb injury. He's ranked 1. Yeah, he's thrown the most interceptions since he's returned from his injury. So you're like looking at this game and almost like guarantee that he's going to throw the ball. And he's had multiple interception games this year too, which isn't good. Also, what we've kind of seen is that the Cowboys are relying on the running game more with Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott doing pretty well. I feel like this game, he's not going to need to throw the ball 30 yards. And, the history shows that he will turn the ball over. So I think going into this game, like I said, I think he's going to play well, but not championship level well. But you're hoping that he's going to vulture some touchdowns around the goal line. Either like he would run it in or he would do like a play action to a tight end. Something like along those lines. I think that's what you're hoping for. If you're going in for a hope, it's kind of tough. If you're just wanting something that could get you around like 15, 16, 17 points, I think he's going to be able to get you that. Okay, next, the running back, Ezekiel Elliott. Play. I want you to play this guy. I want you to play him. He's a 17th running back overall, but the Titans are third best defense against running back scoring. Okay, so that's a bad matchup. But Ezekiel Elliott has 8 straight games with a touchdown. 8 straight games with a touchdown. So he gets the ball around the goal line and he scores. Okay. He doesn't have any 100 yards rushing this game. He came close in the last Thursday game that he played in against the Giants on Thanksgiving. He had 92 yards rushing. All right. Total all year, he's got 11 touchdowns. He is touchdown dependent. All right. But the thing is, he's getting the touchdowns. He has 11 all year. He has 1 in 8 straight games. He's getting the touchdowns. So he would get you those 50, 60, 70 rushing yards and then probably around 10, 20 receiving yards, and a touchdown. That's the important part. So will the streak continue? It probably will because they feed this guy around the goal line. So you're going to probably see this game is going to be 9 straight touchdowns for this guy. He's going to get you over like 10 points. Last week, there's a little bit more. Last week out of the 8 straight games that he scored a touchdown. He only had 11 points last week, but they were also trailing, right? They were trailing a lot. They couldn't get the running game really going. They were trailing. Dak Prescott was throwing interceptions, but Dak Prescott came through when it needed. They really relied on his arm, and they weren't running the ball as much. I don't think that's going to happen. I really don't see the Cowboys falling behind like 10, 14, 18 points in this game. They're probably going to have the lead for the most part. They're probably not going to need to air it out all that much. I think they're really going to rely on the running game on this one. With that being said, dang, I did Tony Pollard, but I don't have a player box in my notes. Well, sometimes you just got to be on the fly here, right? Okay, so pause Tony Pollard. All right. So he's the 6th best running back. Once again, going against the 3rd best defense against running back scoring. Last week, the Eagles are 15th best against the run. He only produced 9 rushes for 19 yards. That's one of his worst averages all season. He wasn't really able to get a lot of things going. And then, like I said, they got to the point where they kind of abandoned a run and just relied on Dak Prescott's arm. I don't know if you remember, but it was like 3rd and 30. He threw it deep to T.Y. Hilton. Oh, key play of the game on that one. Anyway, so if he was playing like that against the Eagles defense that are 15th best against the run, which I feel like they have actually improved in as the season's gone on in the run game. Now going against the 3rd best defense against the run, I don't see him doing all that great, especially with Ezekiel Elliott being the main guy, right? He's the main goal back that you want, that the Cowboys want. They're using him around the goal line. So the difference is Tony Pollard is he's been touchdown dependent lately, but he's not getting the touchdowns, right? So that's like the difference between Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard is that they're both touchdown dependent recently, especially Pollard. There was a time where he was like throwing up numbers, but it didn't matter if he had a touchdown. But recently, as soon as Ezekiel Elliott came back, he's been dependent on the touchdowns. He's not getting them as much. Ezekiel Elliott's getting them. So right now, I think everyone's just hoping that if you start Tony, that he's going to break off a 50, 40-yard touchdown runner pass, which may happen, which is something that he could do because he's that talented, he's that quick. But what if that doesn't happen? Which is there's a likely chance, there's a higher chance that that doesn't happen than it does happen. So if you're just going off the stats and numbers, this is a game that you're likely not going to start Tony Pollard, right? If you're trying to gamble for the championship win, which is pretty crazy, I think at this time you need players that you know they're going to perform well. This one's the iffy. I would say pause. Next. All right. So we've reached it, the boom or bust, and I'm going to go, so boom. I'm going to do a boom on Ceedee Lamb. Ceedee Lamb has been pretty good in recent weeks, right? He's been killing it. He's been doing well. He's blowing up. He looks good. He looks young. He's fresh. This guy's doing the work. Ceedee Lamb is the 6th overall wide receiver. The Titans have the 32nd best defense against wide receiver scoring, right? This is a pretty good matchup for Ceedee Lamb. Kellen Moore, he loves creating plays for Ceedee Lamb to get open and do what he needs to do. He's great once he catches the ball. He does this catch, stop, turn around, all this like Madden stuff that you see, which is great because it's adding more points to your starting lineup, which is what you want. So he's good after the catch too. And the thing is, he's actually catching the ball. Last year, he was horrible with the drops. Earlier this year, he was dropping a lot, but now he's catching it, which makes a big difference and a big impact. In the last 5 games, he has 40. Damn, still coughing because of black lung. Whew. The last 5 games, he has 42 targets over that span. Actually, probably throughout the whole season. He's Dak's favorite target by far. He's a great runner after the catch. Last week against the Eagles, he 10 receptions, 120 yards, and 2 touchdowns, 11 targets. And now he's going up against the worst defense, worst secondary in the league, right? I think there's a good chance that he can either get, 0 or 1 touchdown in this game. But I think he's going to get you over 100 yards. That's important, right? He's the main guy. I think he's easily going to, with all the injuries on the Titans defense, I think this game is set up for Ceedee Lamb to have big. The only thing is, like, you want him to get a touchdown. I could see him probably getting 1 touchdown at least. But I think he's going to get you a lot of receiving yards too, which is going to boost up those numbers around the 15-20 mark, which is great. That's what you want in the finals. I think he's projected in our league at 13. I think he's going to do more than 13. I'll do that. So yeah, boom, play Ceedee Lamb. This next one is pretty tough. Okay, so we're at the tight end. Play Dalton Schultz. Yeah, play Dalton Schultz. 16th tight end overall. The Titans are 28th best against the tight end scoring. The injuries are read off earlier. Both their safeties and their linebacker, Dylan Cole, are questionable for this game, so they are dealing with some sort of injury, it looks like. Those are kind of normally the players, position players that cover tight ends. If they're hurt, Dalton Schultz has a chance to burn them in the open field. Maybe not burn them, but maybe just his route running and catching, and he could overpower these fools. Okay, but the thing is, he only has 5 receptions the last 2 games, which isn't great. But if the running game struggles against this defense is supposed to be good against the run, Dalton has a good matchup. This is a type of game that you can see Dallas actually running up the score, right? They've had a couple of games this year where they have like 40 and 50 points against the teams from, oh my gosh, what's their division? The AFC South? Oh my gosh, I really hope that's right. I can't think of it at the top of my head. The AFC, that division with the Colts, the Titans, the Jacksonville, and the Texans. They put up some numbers against those teams. So this looks like it might be another possibility like that, especially with Ryan Tannehill not playing. So what you're hoping for is that if they run up the score, he's going to get near the red zone. He's going to hopefully maybe vulture a touchdown from Ezekiel Elliot. Okay. All right. Next, play the Cowboys defense. So after watching the last previous games of the Cowboys, I'm just like, their defense looks like it's getting worse, 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 worse. Especially you got the middle linebacker right now, Van Der Esch. He's out, right? He hasn't been playing. You know, he's the guy in the middle that stuffs everything. He's not there, so they're able to run. Well, they kind of always been able to run against the Cowboys defense, but also pass. And I feel like offenses are starting to figure out, especially Diggs. You know, you pump fake Diggs, Trevon Diggs, and you're going to get a touchdown or 60 yards because he wants the ball. So people are figuring out this defense. So I'm telling you this, but then I'm also saying play. Why? It's because we're going against Malik Williams. That dude has more turnovers than touchdowns this year, right? He has 0 passing touchdowns. He has 1 rushing touchdown. And he has like 5 turnovers in his 5 games played. He doesn't have he hasn't surpassed 100 yards passing at all this year, right? Derrick Henry's going to get his running because the running game for the Cowboys isn't great. They're going to probably run Derrick Henry. This game is still valuable to the Titans, so they're going to do what they can to try to make this playoff run. They're going to use Derrick Henry. They're going to run it. But Willis, I don't think he's going to do great. He hasn't been doing great all year. I think this is a game that you can play him. Cowboys are great on causing turnovers. Look, obviously, Willis is turning the ball over. Play their defense. Okay. With that being said, you also want to play Brett Maher. He's the number 1 kicker in fantasy. He averages 9.8 points a game, and it's Thursday night, so you play him. All right. Thank you, guys. This should be a fun game to watch. I'm going to watch it either way. Go Cowboys. It's the first week of the fantasy championship, so good luck to everybody out there. If you've made it this far, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, all that jazz. We've been kind of doing well recently. We just want to keep the numbers going. We also have an Instagram, the Fantasy Footballin Show, right? So check us out if you want some more comment. Other than that, Tyler's got a video coming out Thursday morning. Make sure you check it. And I wish you guys the best in your fantasy football finals, right? So take it easy.